Gautam Shah, founder Goldilocks Global Research, with us this morning. By the way, in case you're just tuning in, we have a stellar lineup through the morning on India Market Open as we decode the budget and some of those announcements sink in. Gautam, the way the index has moved, I think it's time for a rejig on or relook at all of the key levels, isn't it? Where do you think we sit right now on the Nifty?
Good morning. Well, I think the market went into the event with very high expectations. And I think it was clearly a disappointment. And I've always believed that the market's verdict is very, very important. And because the market did not get much from it, I think we've seen this correction. But we've been in correction mode for a month now on the index. And we've been in correction mode for the broader markets for the last 15 months. So the market was hoping that there could be something that could be a game changer and that could help the Indian markets align itself with the rest of the world. You know, in the last 20 years, since the time I've been looking at markets, India has been the apple of the eye in the global equity basket. But for the first time in 6 months, our market has gone the other way, while most of the world markets, you look at the Asia ETF, Europe ETF, or the developed world ETF, all are delivering. Yesterday, coming back to the Nifty, I think we tested an important support in the form of 24,600. I think that seems to have led to some stability. The market is definitely oversold technically and sentimentally. There is a case for some range-bound action, some stability just for the near term, but I don't think we are out of the woods as yet, because if I do a sum of part analysis and if I look at components of the Nifty and the broader markets, I think there is more weakness ahead and eventually we are likely to break 24,600.
Okay, we're likely to. So, hi Gautam, good morning. I'm just wondering whether you see this as broad-based weakness, or do you see that in certain pockets? And we've seen even this play out amidst the drops that you've seen in the broader markets, the rotation into some of the large cap counters, right? So, do you see that taking place? And if we do hit that 24,600 level, do you anticipate that buying will come in a bigger manner that we've seen in the past?
Well, speak to anybody on the street, a typical HNI, and he will tell you that portfolios have not delivered for over a year. So I think the broader markets have been in extreme pain over the last 1.5 years. Story and narrative-based stocks have just fallen off the cliff. But I do believe it's a little overdone. If you look at the small cap index or the micro cap index, I think they are down about 12-15% from lifetime highs. So I think now what seems to be happening is that the top 100 is coming under pressure. You know, the top 100 was relatively safe till last year. They have come under pressure, and I don't think it's going to resolve itself overnight. Let's be very clear that we are in a downtrend, and if you are going to be in a downtrend, you will keep finding selling pressure at high levels. And the problem is banks. You know, the bank Nifty has been the last man standing, and if this sector were to come under pressure, it's going to be even more problematic for the market, because I don't see anything special coming out of IT or auto or pharma or capital goods, or for that matter, even Reliance. So in that kind of an environment, Indian markets are a tough space to be in for the near term.
Well, on the tricky one, good morning, Neeraj here, and thanks for joining in. The tricky one is, of course, around commodities and metals, right? Because they not only are the stocks the fervor, but people have wanted to trade into gold, silver, and base metals too in a meaningful way. How do you see that whole complex, both the precious metals and the non-precious ones? I don't know if you can call anything non-precious these days, though.
Yeah, that's true. I think firstly, if you talk about the metal stocks in India, I think they have been the poster boys in the last 6 months. And I've said this on your channel multiple times that my favorite for last year was metals, and my favorite for this year is PSU. I think that's pretty clear, and that's where I'm betting on. That's where we are recommending clients to be committed into. But I think the precious metals got a little overdone. It was parabolic. I think this accident had to happen, and it's happened very quickly in a couple of days. And I think this just happens in every single asset class which goes through a parabolic move. So I think we've seen a top in precious metals for now. Probably they will see a little more correction. One should not indulge in any sort of bottom fishing, and I think one should just stay away from precious metals. But the base metal pack, I think, will come back very strongly. So I think copper, aluminum, I think all of these, zinc, I think they will come back. That's a mega trend, and that's here to stay. So if you have to bet anything in hard assets and metals, let it be in the base metals. And I think the base metals proxy stocks in India will continue to do well post a near-term correction, because they had also run up a lot, and many stocks gave you returns of 2x and 3x, while the Nifty found it difficult to get into double-digit returns.
Okay. So in this context then, Gautam, what according to you should be the strategy? If you are, and I know that you look slightly longer term as well. So from that perspective, should you just park it for a little while, wait for the dust to settle? What should your strategy be?
Waiting for the dust to settle has been a great strategy for the last 5 years. And I think the dust has always settled and markets have always come back. And I think that's the biasness that we work as an Indian citizen and an Indian market participant. But this time I'm very concerned. The reason being, India seems to have broken down versus the rest of the world. The point that I made, in my first comment, that everywhere apart from India, there seems to be a massive bull market, whether it's, US, parts of Europe, China, Japan, Brazil, Australia. I think all of these markets have done exceedingly well. And India is not used to being a student, standing outside the class in a massive global bull market. That concerns me a little bit. And I think our valuations have anyway been a question of debate for a very long period of time. And there is a case of some derating that we seem to be going through as an economy because of the India-Trump, relationship, or the AI or FI selling and all of these factors which are coming at play. And that's probably the reason why the budget was such an important event, because it could have, soothed the nerves of market participants. So not much to hide at this point of time. The three spaces that I like to be in would still be PSU, metals, and banks. Everything else looks negative to me. Just wait for the broader markets to stabilize. And another bigger problem is that our market is very shallow. And I think with what has happened to STT yesterday and with that's going to happen to futures and options, that's my bigger concern of liquidity.
So liquidity concerns, the big bold measures, do you see those converting to any movement for those stocks? ECMS, semiconductor, AI, rare earth, and there are few plays over there, but defense, for example, some recovery today. Do you see all of that converting to any gains at all, or would you look back to consumer plays?
I don't see it getting converted, Tamanna, because I think all of the positives are already in the price, and many of these stocks are extremely richly valued at this point of time, and I don't think they have headroom on the upside. If you talk about these same themes in other markets around the world, there is a big opportunity that I see. But some of these Indian stocks in these spaces, I don't think there is much upside. Honestly, I'm looking at more brick and mortar and bread and butter businesses, and that's probably the reason SBI, as you know, has been my favorite for a couple of years now. The stock is still at levels of 1,000, 1,050. So I think some of these top PSUs, top PSU banks which are non-adventurous and which have nothing to do with foreign policy as much, I think are where I'm very comfortable with.
Got it. Okay. Gautam, lovely talking to you, and your concerns are noted. Let's just hope that as India bulls go, these are also short-lived and we come back very, very strongly. But great to get your views just post the budget.